If, in trying to convince you of who I am, I have stressed the ancient, quoting Plato and his party guests, citing Achilles' rageful grieving for Patroclus as evidence of profundity, even reminding you of those gentle exchanges between Orestes and Pylades in tragedy. If this was my strategy, then it was designed to appeal to a dignity you recognize, the depth of feeling for one of my own sex that you can accept. Because you, I know, also desire these men, in title if not body, you, the Anglo-Saxon heir to these heroes of the Mediterranean. History, I know, appears to you as marble conflicts in far-removed museum halls, where you marvel in sighing to yourself without any hint of irony or nuance. This is mine. I remember I stood next to you on those edifying trips, glancing at some boy across the way. I came into your room today to tell you that I was wrong. What I feel for other men is nothing like those vase painting reproductions on the mantelpiece and in the hall. Madeline Miller's gay Achilles is no more meaningful to me than Brad Pitt's no homo, bro. No, I am not initiating nor being initiated into the values of civilized man. I am not privileging brothers in arms while making slaves of women. I am not succumbing to the erotics of nudity and sweat while training with my guest kin to avenge my father with my mother's own blood. I will not welcome the tenderness of my lover's touch if, in the next breath, I vow to violently seize my inheritance. And I will not let the dick-swinging gods who permitted the violence expunge my conscience only by deciding that the blood of women and of girls turns out, after all, to be wiped clean. Recall one passage I shared from Euripides. Orestes says to his beloved Pylades that to care for him is rotten work. It, he, they are rotten. But what I feel, what I am, is not. There is no rot here, no ruins to yearn over, no artifacts to conserve. And let me be very clear. Nothing about the way I love requires me to efface my mother, nor subordinate any other who goes by the word woman. Loving men does not collect me into that gentleman's club you hoped might become the site for our kindly reconciliation. Orestes and Pylades, Achilles, Plato, all those others who once I might have sought to cultivate as my queer ancestry stood to inherit so much, kingdoms, or human chattel, or both. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, bronze tripods, or don't blame me for lacking details. As I grew older, those boyhood glances stopped up my ears to your lecturing. My point is, unlike those Greeks, I stand to inherit nothing so much as a mosaic to tile over the depths of shame to which you expected me to descend. I've come to tell you, I don't want it. I don't want what you have for me. But of course, you're not here. It's a Sunday, and you're watching men play with balls. Nothing gay about that. In the pub down the road. So, in a move you won't expect, I return to the text. Libation bearers, Aeschylus. But I hear those words as your own. Orestes, What shall I do? The knife points at his mother's chest. Pylades, his lover, do her in. A paraphrase, but my Greek never was as good as yours. I take your pen and I scratch into your copy a new stage direction. I don't know when you'll discover this, but perhaps think of it as a palimpsest. Gently, I write, and against all expectations, Orestes lays down his weapon. The tragedy ends. Then I think and add, and by the way, Dad, I am a fag, not a beloved guest friend, not a warrior or avenging prince, a queer, a fruit, and I am unlike anyone you have ever read about in these books. You won't understand me any better by looking for the right word in Greek. Instead, look at me now while I am here in your presence. Look at what you once named flaming, and recoil in wonder, the blazing of my queerness. Adjust your eyes to the intensity of that light. Then, if I can riff off your favorite Apollo for a sec, you'll know thy son. Then I think some more and add, I hope you're well. And I return your text to the shelf. Done.